From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way up to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Well, happy Friday morning to you all. You know, the weekend is almost here. You can almost taste it, right? So it looks like we have a nice weekend in store for us, although it's going to start off fairly warm, but then we should start to cool off. Now let's get you to Kruger's QuickCast. If you're in a hurry getting out the door this morning, here's what you can expect. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a chilly start to the day. We're talking about low to mid 60s, 8 o'clock this morning for the valley, 40s, 50s for the higher elevations. There will be some patchy fog for some of you along the coast. Other areas, not as bad, especially out towards places like Del Norte County, for example. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast here. And what we're seeing here by noon, most of the fog that we're seeing along the coast is pretty much gone. And we go through the afternoon, it's pretty much gone as well. You can see that fog bank, though, off along the coast. That is what's going to be moving in Saturday, Sunday, and eventually rain in the forecast. What did I say? Rain? Yeah, you're going to have to stick around for that deeper dive forecast if you want to get more details on that. But here you can see the winds a little gusty in some spots this morning for parts of the valley. But as we go into the noon and afternoon hours, you can see really across the board the winds aren't that much of an issue. However, there are still some gusty winds, it looks like, along parts of the coast here. All right, so here's what we have in store for us today. It's warming up a bit. We're talking low to mid 90s in the valley. We can get up to about 94, 95 for Redding. Chico about 92, 93. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s for the higher elevations, but places like Trinity County, I think will kind of just touch that 90-degree mark, as well as some of those inland areas for Del Norte and Humboldt counties. Otherwise, for the coast, you're looking at temperatures in the mid-60s for your Friday. Taking a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley, what we're going to see here is those temperatures pretty warm here today and tomorrow. Well, my map doesn't seem to want it. Oh, there it is. There you go. But there you can see mid-90s here for today. Saturday, we're at about 93 degrees. So temperatures really dropping, though. Now, here's the thing. We're going to talk about all of this in our deep dive forecast on when we expect most of the rain to arrive. But basically, Sunday, Monday, break on Tuesday, then Wednesday, another chance for some showers before we dry things out. And you'll also notice significantly cooler as we go into next week as well. Going to get a bit of a taste of fall, actually. There you can see your coast, inland, and Trinity County. Again, we'll talk more about that timing in your deeper dive forecast, but bottom line, it's just going to be cooler across the board, even for the coast here. Mount Shasta, you're down to the 60s, even 50s for places like El Turris, and generally in the low to even some mid-60s here through a good portion of next week. All right, that's your quick cast. You can head out the door, have yourself a great day, but if you want to stick around for more details on that chance for rain, because, yeah, it's looking pretty promising, although it doesn't look like it's going to be a ton. All right, let's get you right into it. First of all, there's a slight warming trend going into the weekend. You're going to notice it today. It's going to be a lot warmer out there for the valley in particular. Even the mountains, you'll notice those warmer temperatures too. A slight dip tomorrow, but a bigger drop as we go in the second half of the weekend. Now, we do have a bit of a roller coaster ride with those temperatures. They're going up the next few days, back down again, and by the end of next week, temperature is kind of going back up again. But that drop in our temperatures, bigger than the one we saw earlier this week. Cooler and unsettled through at least the middle of next week. Quick look at the NorCal fires here. The Boise fire still at just under 13,000 acres, 91% containment. Just not getting many reports on these fires, which is a good thing sometimes, right? Because that just means that they're just doing their job. They're doing everything to help kind of mop up these fires. But we're just not seeing much in the way of growth or containment here, changes here. Still at 99% containment for the Park Fire. And we take you out to the Bear Fire at a little over 3,000 acres there, still at about 83% containment. So we take a look at the winds. Something going on with the map there. There we go. But there you can see as we go into 5 p.m. On your Friday, yeah, I mean, we're not looking at very strong winds out there, with the exception of the coast. You can see some gusty winds there. All right, now we take you into your Saturday morning. Now notice, winds are fairly calm, looks pretty good. Saturday afternoon, all right, the wind's picking up a little bit, but it's just going to be, we'll call it on the breezy side, including the coast here. Now Sunday, different story. Sunday is when the storm system starts to arrive. So Sunday morning, Not that bad with the winds, but watch what happens as we go through the afternoon. Those winds really starting to pick up. Now at this point, the storm is kind of moving on in. We've got chances for showers for parts of Northern California and, of course, those gusty winds as well. So does that mean our fire weather risk is going to increase as we go into Sunday? Probably not. And the reason being is, as you can see here for today, typical, right? It's going to be a hot day. It's going to be dry in the valley, single digits for those humidity levels. But on Saturday, the winds are shifting more from the south. Not very strong winds on Saturday as we saw, but humidity levels are starting to go up in advance of the storm system. Now remember those really strong winds on Sunday? Okay, usually we'd be concerned about that, but temperatures are going to be significantly cooler. Humidity levels are back up over 20 to even 30% in the valley. And you know, it's just not very warm out there. As I mentioned, those temperatures will be a lot cooler out there. So not terribly concerned about those winds for your Sunday. All right, so here's the big picture. I mean, look at that. I mean, we're just kind of void of clouds here. That's the storm system that impacted us a couple days ago. It's up here to our north and west that we got to keep our eyes on. This is the cooler and unsettled weather pattern, number 1. Number 2, that's what's coming on here. So what do I mean by number 1, number 2? All right, well, let's talk about that here. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Futurecast. You can see by noon, yeah, there still may be some low clouds lingering for some of you around the Eureka area, central southern Humboldt County, but really, for the most part, we're looking at those clear skies along the coast. 6 p.m. today, mainly clear skies for the coast, and of course everywhere else, right? Then we go into tonight and to tomorrow. Now we're starting to see that marine layer kind of make its way back. So we'll call it partly to mostly cloudy skies for the coast. We're starting to see more clouds move in, especially to the north on Saturday. That's because the storm system's approaching, but it won't be here yet on Saturday. Still plenty of sunshine for the valley. Now things get more interesting. Let's start with Sunday morning. Still some fog along the coast. Now we're still starting to see some of those clouds in there, but nothing organized just yet, but we're starting to see the showers begin to move in a little bit closer. Then we go through the afternoon. Late in the afternoon, we start to see the best chances for showers and even some thunderstorms to the north, out towards Del Norte County, Siskiyou County, and Modoc County. Now, still, there's a little bit of uncertainty as far as the timing of when this system comes in and how far south it will be by Sunday. That's why I've included a chance for showers to the south, places like Redding, even Chico. But as you head south of these areas here, the chances for any shower activity on Sunday are going to be slim. But if you have any outdoor plans, say a hike or something of that nature, just be aware of the fact, especially in Siskiyou County, Modoc County, you may run into some heavy rainfall, a heavy downpour, maybe some thunderstorms, and not to mention those gusty winds as well. All right, so that's what we have here as we go through the weekend. Now, there's more to it than that. So let's start with Friday again here today. There's the system I was just pointing out here on the satellite image. There's another one right back here, the main area of low pressure, but it's all coming from this energy here. All right, so this is just going to migrate southward here through the weekend. So by Sunday, this model has it here by 5 p.m. right here. So right now, again, what we're seeing here is most of the activity to the north. As we go into Sunday night into Monday, this area of low pressure will kind of shift off to the east here. Okay, so we'll be on the west side or on the back side of that area of low pressure. Now what happens is you get that rotation around that low, and that's what helps to bring in some of the rain and even some thunderstorms possibly for Monday. Now here's the thing, especially this time of the year, these systems, even though it's coming from an ocean, it's a cold ocean, so it typically doesn't have a ton of moisture to work with. So this is not going to be a widespread rainfall event by any stretch of the imagination. But Monday, yeah, we could pick up some rainfall, even the valley. But you can see it's kind of a little bit more favoring more that is the eastern mountains in Modoc County. So, you know, along the coast, maybe slimmer chances. Even the valley seeing slimmer chances, but still a chance for showers nonetheless. All right, so that's Monday. Cooler, temperatures much cooler. We're talking 70s for most of us in the valley, and it's going to get even cooler than that in the mountains. Breezy, borderline windy as we go into Sunday, Monday, and of course that chance for showers I was talking about. So this is going to be that first shot of cooler air coming in. Now that moves on out. Another one comes in behind that. The transition between these two will dry us out on Tuesday. It'll warm up slightly on Tuesday. Then by Wednesday, this second shot of cooler air comes down, drops our temperatures down again. Very pleasant, cool, really. Then we've got more unsettled weather, meaning chance for showers, maybe some thunderstorms, especially in the mountains, but even the valley, seeing a chance for some of those showers. So I would say the best chances for showers in the valley, and really everyone, will be Monday and Wednesday. Now, of course, as we mentioned, as we go into Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, we're seeing those thunderstorms up to the north. You saw that on Futurecast. But this is going to start Sunday afternoon and then off and on through Wednesday. The timing, the intensity of all of this, it's all going to be fine-tuned as we get closer to next week, but you get the idea, general idea. I think you're going to be okay for most of you over the weekend. It's Siskiyou County, Modoc County, Del Norte County that you will have to watch for that potential for thunderstorms. Now, that will move out by the end of next week. Maybe a lingering shower for Modoc County Eastern Mountains on Thursday morning. But for the most part, Thursday dries out, Friday dries out as well, not to mention Saturday. High pressure will be the dominant feature going into the end of next week, which means temperatures, that's right, they're going back up. That's that roller coaster that I was talking about. The cooler air coming in through midweek, and by the end of next week, the temperatures do start to go back up, and we dry things out as well. But look at the precipitation outlook over the next 10 days. We are in that wetter than normal category. Now, keep in mind, the amount of rainfall that we typically see this time of the year is not very much. So any amount of rainfall that we see is most likely going to be above normal. That's why it's kind of in that category there. Now, someone was asking me on Coffee with Kruger yesterday morning, what does the outlook so far look for the winter? Well, I'm not going to go all the way out through winter. And I'll say this right now. I have never in my entire career, I have never been a fan of projecting and looking out 2, 3, 4 months. It's just, it's one of those things where you never know. Things can happen, things can change. Yes, technology's changed, more forecast models are getting better, but it's not a reliable look at what's going to really happen. But just for some of you who want to see that, this is what the Climate Prediction Center is predicting for the next 3 months. Most likely a wetter than normal conditions here for the Pacific Northwest, drier to the south. Quite honestly, this is pretty normal. As you see these systems kind of clip Northern California, most of it's up to the north. So we could be, of course, looking at a decent chance for some rain. But again, this is looking 3 months out. You can't really rely on that. Taking a look at the temperature outlook here for the next 10 days. Yes, I mean, we're talking about those cooler temperatures coming in next week. Well, there it is. Most likely looking at those below normal temperatures. Let's take a look at that temperature trend and that roller coaster I was talking about, going up, back down, and look at that peak on Monday. We're down to 72 degrees, and then temperatures kind of ticking back upward as we get to the end of next week, back in the mid to upper 80s, maybe even around 90 by the time we get into that next weekend. But I mean, this is so nice to look at, isn't it? Especially after a pretty hot summer. And speaking of that, a lot of people tend to ask, hey, we've seen our last triple-digit temperatures in a while, so is this going to be it for the month or for the year? Now, the reason I say I can't say that with confidence that we're done, even though we're in a nice little cooling trend right now, the reason I can't say with confidence that, hey, yeah, no, it's the last we'll ever see it, we're done for the rest of the year. I can't say that. Why? Take a look at this. These are records for Reading since 1893. So, the latest we've ever reached 100 degrees or higher, and then of course beyond that, of course, was October 14th, both 1991 and 2022. After those days, it stayed below 100 degrees, and we didn't see any 100-degree temperatures. So this is about a month out. So even as we go into October, we can't rule out one of those just crazy stray heat waves that come on through. Now, usually they don't last very long. They're not a very long stretch. We could get a day or two of the 90s and then 100 degrees, but we can't rule it out. We're still a month away from some of these records that we've seen here. So we'll see. We'll see, right? Right now, I feel pretty confident that we may see the last of these triple-digit temperatures because the trends are looking pretty good, but again, you can get that really weird anomaly where you see this ridge of high pressure come in, and before you know it, we're back into the 90s and triple digits. All right, so let's just hold off for a couple of weeks before we can really start to say that with a bit more confidence. All right, here you can see your wave heights. They are increasing today, and then you can see as we go into Saturday, they will start to decrease. So if you're on a small boat, just know that there is a small correct advisory through the day today. And then, of course, we're just going to be looking at those winds fairly strong from the north at about 15 to 20 knots. All right, here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. It's getting warmer out there, mainly around 90, give or take, just depending on where you are. Of course, we saw the timing of the showers and even some thunderstorms in the forecast. There's a look at your North Coast neighborhood forecast, 66 Rio Dell, 70 in Blue Lake, and 88 degrees for a high today in Alder Point. We take it to the north with 87 for Gas Key, 74 degrees for Smith River, and Orleans about 92 degrees. So still pretty warm for those inland areas. But not bad for Siskiyou County. Some of the warmer spots like Happy Camp at about 88, but Hornbrook about 85, Mount Shasta 82 degrees, and Tennant about 75. Take you out to Modoc County, where you can see about 77 degrees for Fort Bidwell, 77 for Aden, and Canby about 80 degrees. In your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, mainly in the 80s. Some of those higher elevations like Viola about 78, Mineral Viola 75, 78 for Mineral, 76 for Westwood, and Doyle about 80 degrees. We take it to the Valley neighborhood forecast. Temperatures low 90s for basically Corning southward, but I do expect it to be just a tad warmer northward, about 94 degrees for Redding, Anderson about 95, and Red Bluff topping out at about 93 degrees. So looking at your 7-day outlook for Redding, what we're seeing here, those temperatures dropping slightly on Saturday, but still warm. So a warm start to your weekend, much cooler by Sunday. Now, the thing is, I've got the chance for showers in there on Sunday. I wouldn't count on much. I think most of it will be to the north of us. All right, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. Be sure to watch meteorologist Brian Wilson over the weekend. He'll, of course, have the latest for you, and I'll have the latest on those latest forecast models as we go into the afternoon update, and not to mention this evening. Now, Monday, you can see here, we've got, looks like another chance for showers, but cooler, much cooler. And then Tuesday, we're dry. We're between systems, and then maybe another chance for showers by Wednesday, and then drying out and warming up by the end of next week. That is your morning update. I'll be back at noon with the latest forecast.
We're the locals down the street. The neighbor you come to for advice. A nest egg for the golden years. A loan or a new account for that growing business. What started in Chico 50 years ago has taken us all around California, providing big bank lending power and high-tech service, while keeping our relationships personal. We're still the locals down the street, no matter where your street might be. Tri-Counties Bank, California's local bank.